Our next guest was so frustrated with her experience as a working parent that she created her own solution. Amanda Munday is the founder of The Workaround. It's a co-working space that also offers on-site childcare. In an article, she called on other businesses to do the same. Hi, Amanda. Thanks for joining us here on Canada Tonight.
Thanks for making space for me.
So I want to look at some numbers together. We've seen employment for moms plummet during this pandemic. Statistics Canada showing that mothers with kids between 6 and 12 lost their work at 3 times the rate of all working adults. Now, the employment rate for mothers whose youngest child was between the ages of 6 and 12 fell 2.9 percentage points compared to 0.9% of all working adults. So, what does that sort of tell you about the barriers that women face around childcare? And, you have tried to find a way to close that gap.
Yeah, what the pandemic has shown us is what many working women and working parents, including me, have always known. It's not an equal system. We know that we have pay equity challenges, we have systemic barriers, and now what the pandemic has illustrated is that it is in fact cheaper to leave your job, to not work, and in many cases be forced out of work, to prioritize childcare. I worked in tech startups before I launched a company. I was making a good income, and to put both my children who were under 4 in childcare would be $50,000 a year.
Wow.
How can I afford $50,000 a year? What happens is in heterosexual households, most likely, the woman is making less money. So it's financially advantageous for her to leave work. That creates a debt in her long-term earning potential. The company loses all of that value, the historical knowledge, her ingenuity, her innovation, all because childcare is so inaccessible. And for me, it's incredibly frustrating because childcare is so fixable.
Yeah, and you mentioned, and there's a greater impact, as you say, on the economy of losing out on this talent. I think that statistically, women tend to be higher educated than men. So that's talent that we're taking out of the workforce. So interesting that you talk about, challenges moms have at work. And it seems that, actually men get rewarded when they have children. A UBC study looked in 2018, found that white men in Canada tend to get a wage boost after becoming fathers. Is that surprising to you?
It's not surprising. It's systemic sexism. It's not surprising to know that dads are rewarded for doing both, managing their careers and being a parent, and women and non-binary individuals are often penalized. And so what we see is men are viewed as committing to their households and going to stay with the company because that's going to somehow, it's all systemic sexism. Women, when they become parents, are viewed as flight risks. They're viewed as not as efficient or productive in their work. In fact, what I've seen is it's quite the opposite. Ask a parent, a mother who's sleep deprived, who's managing her job, homeschooling, dealing with the pandemic, health benefits, their child's well-being, and their job, if they have any time to waste. I've found that parents are the most efficient creatures, and women are not less qualified. All of that is bias that I'm really hoping that the pandemic will shake out of Canada's system for good.
So you founded The Workaround. It's essentially a work share space, an office space that includes childcare in the same building. And it's something that you're calling on more, companies to a model for them to follow. Are you hopeful? I mean, I know right now people aren't really going to the office. The Workaround is closed because of the pandemic. But once we kind of get back into that office culture in some way, are you hopeful that this could be a model that folks could take on?
Of course. Don't tell me the office is dead. I know that parents and single apartment dwellers cannot wait to get back to the office. I know that it'll be a hybrid approach. Of course, we welcome the ability to not commute as much, but I do think there will be a return of some office. And we might have extra office space. Is it so inconceivable that we use that extra unused space to have our children in the same building? And look, I wrote the article on the idea of encouraging CEOs to prioritize childcare, knowing that one solution is not sweeping for all of Canada.
Right.
Of course, the national childcare initiatives that the Liberal government is promising and centered with the throne speech in the fall, of course, that should be a priority. And we've accepted that employers subsidize the cost of pharma benefits and health benefits in addition to our public health care system. So I think we should also ask that employers support childcare benefits to re-engage this economy and recognize that there really is no economic recovery without childcare and without supporting women at work.
All right, Amanda Munday is the founder of The Workaround in Toronto. And happy International Women's Day to you.
And to you. Thank you.